Hello friends, how are you? I hope you all are doing good. So let's continue with our discussion on joint and byproduct. This is what we have been doing, joint and byproduct costing, right? So before we continue, what you people have to do is subscribe to the channel, press the bell icon so that you get all the notifications, because we are going to update the whole course there, right? With other important videos also that you might get, other important informative videos you will get, right? So subscribe to the channel and please share with maximum people. All those who want to have the handbooks, they can buy it from our website, that is www.ksjteaching.org. And about the other lecture courses which are available, which are very useful, you can download our Android mobile app. The links are given in the video description, right? Or you can search directly on the Play Store, KSJ Teaching, you will get the app, right? So you can download the Android mobile app, and if you want to play the lectures on laptop or the desktop, then you can buy the lectures from our website. The fast track lectures are there. The ICI SM series, one of the most important series, most loved series, I will say. So all these are available on our app, as well as for laptop available on our website. All the links, and you can join the Telegram channel, Telegram group, everything is there. Do read the description once. Okay, so we were discussing about the this joint costing, joint product costing we have been discussing about, and we were discussing about the various methods of distribution of joint cost among the joint products, right? So we have done a few methods, like output method we have done, like the sales value method we have done, sales value or market value. Then we covered the final sales value method. Then we covered the net realizable value method, right? So these four methods we have covered, and I hope you people are clear about it. You people have understood all the methods, and you people are practicing the questions also. That is the most important thing. See, try to make one habit. Whatever you cover in a particular day, if you are watching 2 to 3 lectures, whatever you are covering in those lectures, right, do on the very next day, do give 10 to 15 minutes for the revision of what you have done in the previous day, right? All those who are having the books, it will not take more than 5 to 10 minutes, right? That is why I say the books, the least investment that you can make. Always learn to make investment for the future, right? If you are not going to make investment today for your future, then the growth rate will not be that good as you would have expected. So try to make some investment for the future. Try to make it. So now the next two methods that we are going to cover in this lecture, one is the average unit cost method, and the another one is the contribution margin method. Let's start with it. So the first method that we are going to start in this lecture is average unit cost method. Average unit cost method. Now, what is meant by this average unit cost method? We all know how to calculate the averages. How to calculate the averages, sir? Total cost divided by total number of units, right? That is what we are going to do here. Now, what we see is that we have some input, right? And we incur some joint cost. Say we have incurred 60,000 rupees of joint cost, right? And from here we get 3 joint products, J1, J2 and J3, right? What is the number of units? Say 2000, 2000 and 2000. These are the number of units produced, manufactured, right? So the joint cost is 60,000, and there are 3 products which we have produced, which we have manufactured, that is J1, J2, J3, and the quantity is 2000, 2000 and 2000 number of units, right? Now the average unit cost method says it is one of the simplest method. This method says what you have to do is you have to calculate the average unit cost That means that this 60,000 cost has been incurred on manufacturing this 2,000, 6,000 units. So tell me, on an average, what is the cost for one unit? You have incurred 60,000 rupees on manufacturing 6,000 units. So please tell me, what is the cost that has been incurred for one unit, right? Average cost. So this will be 60,000 divided by 6,000, right? So this will give me 10 rupees. So the average unit cost method, what is the formula now for average unit cost method? Average unit cost is equal to total cost up to split off point. Total cost up to split off point, or the separation point as we call it, divided by total units of joint products, total units of joint products produced, right? See on page 13.3, method number 6. So we are skipping the 5.1. First we are doing the 6.1, average unit cost method on page 13.3, joint and byproduct chapter, right? KSJ handbooks, page 13.3, average unit cost method. Under this method, the total process cost up to the point of separation is divided by the total units of joint product produced. On division, average cost per unit of the production is produced, right? Now, what is the cost per unit now? If you look at the 3 units, if you have to distribute between the 3 units, J1, J2 and J3, we'll say what is the output? What is the output? 2000, 2000 and 2000, right? What is the average unit cost? Average unit cost, that is 10 rupees, 10 rupees and 10 rupees. So what is total cost? So what is my total cost? That is 20,000, right? This multiplied by this equal to this, right? Similarly, 20,000 and 20,000. So the total cost of 60,000, joint cost of 60,000 has been distributed among the 3 products on the basis of the average unit cost. What is on an average, what is the cost of one unit? Clear? So this is another method of distributing the joint cost. Another method of distributing the joint cost between the various joint products. Clear? And guys, with this lecture we are achieving another milestone, 100 lectures. 100 lectures, this is the 100th lecture that we are going about with. So this is another milestone. Please share with all your friends here and follow us on all the social platforms. We are there on the Instagram, we are there on the Twitter, right? On Telegram, and wherever you people can tag us, right? And spread a word with all your friends who can take the benefit, whether they are doing foundation or they are into inter, because foundation students ultimately they will be coming into CA intermediate, right? So this is the method, average unit cost method. Now moving on to the next method, there is nothing much to be discussed in this method. Coming to the next method, that is contribution margin method. Now this is contribution margin method. Right? Contribution margin method. Try to understand what this method says. We say that we have some input, right? And on that we have incurred a joint cost of say 60,000 rupees. From here, this is the split off point. from split of point, you are getting the three products, that is J1, J2 and J3, right? Say 2000, 2000 and 2000. Clear? Now what we say that this cost of 60,000, this is the joint cost. This cost will always have two elements, right? One is going to be the variable element of this cost. We call it as variable cost. The other element will be the fixed cost that we will have, right? What is a variable cost? We have already discussed in the very first lecture, right? What is a variable cost? What is a fixed cost? See, the variable cost is the cost which varies with the number of units being manufactured, right? If you are manufacturing 2000 units, the variable cost will be something different. If you are manufacturing more than 2000 units, the variable cost will be different. If you are manufacturing less than 2000 units, variable cost will vary, right? So variable cost is the cost which will change with the change in the number of units being manufactured. Then what is a fixed cost? The fixed cost is the one that is not going to change. Like, for example, the rent of the building, rent, insurance, right, taxes. So all these things are independent of the number of units being produced. Whether you produce 2000 units or you produce 10,000 units, the rent of the building which you are using is not going to change, right? It is not dependent upon the units, number of units being manufactured. So we say that this joint cost of 60,000 will have two elements. One is the variable cost and the another one is the fixed cost, right? So how to distribute these elements, how to distribute the variable joint cost between these three products, and how to distribute the fixed joint cost among the three products, that is J1, J2 and J3. This is the point in this contribution margin method, that how we are going to distribute it, right? I'll take another example to make you understand about this variable cost and the fixed cost element, right? Let's say you are a CA Inter student, right? You are a CA Inter student. You have joined two coachings, right? You have joined the coaching for accounts, you have joined the coaching for law, and you pay 20,000 rupees. Clear? Now, after a few months, you decided that you need the coaching for taxation also, right? After say 15-20 days or 30 days or 1 month, you realized that taxation is a little bit tough subject. I will not be able to do it on my own, so I'll need the coaching, right? So you join the tax 10,000. Obviously, sir, for this third subject, you will pay some extra cost. This is the variable cost, right? As you increase the number of units, your cost will increase. Isn't it? From 20,000 now, your cost has increased to 10,000. This is the variable cost. What is the fixed cost? Fixed cost is the fuel that is being used by you from going from home to this coaching class. That will remain same. Why it will remain same? Because earlier you were attending two classes at the same place. You are attending the classes at one same place, right? You are going in the morning at 6 and coming back at 2. Right? Now what will happen? You are going to the same place and you will be coming back from the same place. You will go, only your timings will change. You will go in the 6 morning and you will come back at 6 in the evening. Only the timings have changed. The distance, right? The number of visits will not change. So your fuel cost will remain constant. That is a fixed cost, right? Now the thing is, that's a joint cost of 60,000. Whatever we have incurred, how to distribute the variable element and how to distribute the fixed cost between these three joint products. This is the problem now we have to solve using the contribution margin method. So we say that whatever is the variable cost, right, how it should be distributed depends upon what it depends on. Right? Variable cost will be distributed on the basis of output, that is number of units manufactured. So whatever is your output, the variable part of the joint cost will be dependent upon that, right? Read it from page 13.3. contribution margin method, the top fifth method. According to this method, the joint processing costs are apportioned among the joint products in the proportion of variable joint costs are apportioned in the ratio of output of each joint product, right? So that means if out of 60,000 you have say 40,000 as the variable cost, this 40,000 will be distributed in which ratio? 1:1:1, right? That is 2,000 is to 2,000 is to 2,000. This is the ratio in which we are going to distribute the variable cost. Clear? So what about the fixed cost, sir? This is about the variable cost. What about the fixed cost? In which ratio we are going to distribute this fixed cost? Fixed cost will be distributed in the ratio of contribution margin. Contribution margin. Now this contribution margin we are going to study in the chapter of marginal costing also, right? So what is a contribution margin? Contribution margin says contribution is like a profit, right? Not I can say the net profit, but it is another term being used for the earnings or for the profit that you will get from the operations, from the making of a particular product, right? So that means it says what is the sales value? What is the sales value of output, right? What I mean to say is contribution, I'm saying it is another name that is being given for the profit only, right? So profit is what? Profit says the sales minus the cost will give you the profit, right? This is the contribution is the profit that I am earning from the manufacturing of that output, right? So in the manufacturing of that output, the first thing is what is the sales value of that output. Another thing is what is my subtract cost. Which cost? You will subtract the variable cost of that part only. Variable cost of, right, of manufacturing. This will give you the contribution, right? So what is the meaning of contribution? The contribution says that whether we are earning sufficient profits from the manufacturing of a particular product so that we are able to pay our fixed cost, like whether we are earning sufficient profits that we are able to pay our rent, whether we are earning the sufficient profits that we are able to pay our insurance charges or whatever the fixed charges are, whether we are earning that profit, right? So that profit, what is the amount of that profit which is there to pay off the fixed cost is known as contribution, and it is calculated at sales value minus the variable cost of manufacturing will give you the profits from the manufacturing of that particular product. After that is not related to manufacturing. After that, after contribution, what you get is the fixed cost. So fixed cost is not dependent upon the manufacturing. So this contribution reflects the profit that we are earning from the manufacturing part of that product. Clear? So this is the contribution margin method. In that we say that there are two elements. One is the variable cost, another one is the fixed cost. The variable cost is dependent upon the number of units being manufactured, and the fixed cost is dependent upon the ratio of contribution margin. So first we will need to calculate the contribution, then we will distribute the joint cost, joint fixed cost in the ratio of contribution, right? Clear? Any doubts? Okay, let's do a practical problem on this now. Question number 5. Find out the cost of joint products A and B using the contribution margin method from the following data. Sales is given to you A and B 100 kg and 120 kg at 60 and 30 rupees. Joint cost, marginal cost, this is known as variable cost. So there is another name for the variable cost, that is marginal cost. Fixed cost is 3900, right? So what you need to do is, this is our joint cost, right? Joint cost is bifurcated into two parts. One is the variable cost and the another one is the fixed cost. Now we say we have to distribute this joint cost between A and B, right? This variable cost will be distributed in the ratio of output, right? It will be distributed in the ratio of output. The output is 100 kg and 120 kg. Let's do it first. Question number 5. So we'll write here joint products, or I'll write here particulars. We'll present it in the statement form, right? Particulars. Then we have A and B. Clear? So the first thing is the output. Output, that is 100 kg and 120 kg, right? Now the second thing is share in variable joint cost. Variable joint cost, right? Now see, what is the variable joint cost? Total cost, what is the variable joint cost? 4400, right? 4400 rupees is the total cost. Now this variable joint cost will be distributed in which ratio? In the ratio of output, that is 100 kg to 120 kg, right? So that means here we'll say, if we want to calculate for A, we will say 4400 divided by 220 multiplied by 100, right? And for B, this will be 4400 divided by 220 multiplied by 120. Clear? So here we will have 2000 and 2400. So this is we have distributed the variable cost on the basis of the output, right? Whatever is the joint cost part, the variable part, we have distributed on the basis of output. Now we want to find out, there is a fixed cost also. The fixed cost is to be distributed in the ratio of contribution margin. So first we need to find out the contribution. For contribution, you need two things. One is the sales value, another one is the variable cost. Variable cost you have just calculated. What is the sales value for both the products? What is the sales value for both the products? Sales value, right? For product A, it is 100 multiplied by 60, and for product B, it is 120 multiplied by 30, right? So this is 100 multiplied by 60, and this is 120 multiplied by 30. So our sales value will be 6000 and 3600. Now you have the sales value, you have the variable cost for both the products. Can you calculate the contribution? Now you can calculate the contribution, that is sales value minus variable cost, right? 6000 minus 2000, you will get 4000 here, and 3600 minus 2400, you will get 1200 here. Now this is the contribution margin you have got, right? We have got the contribution margin from here, 4000, that is sales value minus the variable cost, and 1200 for B. Now the fixed cost is to be distributed. Now share in fixed joint cost. Share in fixed joint cost. What is the value? 3900. Now this 3900 is to be distributed in the ratio of, in this ratio 4000 is to 1200, right? So for A, if you want to calculate for A, this value will be 3900 divided by 5200 multiplied by 4000, and for B, this value will be 3900 divided by 5200 multiplied by 1200. Clear? The values will be 3000 and 900. This is how the joint cost has been distributed. The variable joint cost on the basis of the output, and the fixed joint cost on the basis of contribution margin. For contribution margin, you need two things. One is the sales value, another one is the variable cost. I hope it is clear. So we are done with this method, that is the contribution margin method. Now, what we are left with is just one method, that is the reverse cost method, right? Reverse cost method we are going to study for the joint product also and for the byproduct also, right? So that is one of the most important methods, reverse cost method. We will do it. We'll try to understand in a very simple language, right? We'll do practical problems also on that. So this reverse cost method we will study for the joint product also and for the byproduct also, and we'll do the question on both of them, right? We'll be doing the solutions on both one joint product and another one how to treat if there is a byproduct along with the main product. Then how to distribute the joint cost using reverse cost method, one of the most important methods. Before that, what you people have to do is you people have to revise everything whatever we have covered, right? After that we'll move on to the next lecture, right? So see you guys in the next lecture. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy, keep sharing, keep studying. Thank you so much.